Welcome to Unleash Leadership, the podcast where bold leaders and changemakers come together to share their stories, strategies, and insights for creating a lasting impact on society. Karla Blanco is your host. For over 28 years, she has been navigating the complexities of the corporate and government worlds, a journey that's taught her that authentic leadership isn't just about climbing the ladder. It's about lifting others as you rise. Along the way, she uncovered the unwritten rules that drive success, the ones no one tells you about, but that can define your career and legacy. On this podcast, she'll sit down with extraordinary guests from around the globe, leaders, visionaries, and innovators who are leaving their mark on the world. Together, they'll explore their journeys, uncover their tips and tricks, and dive into the challenges they've overcome to inspire you to excel in whatever you're facing. Whether you're climbing the corporate ranks, building your personal brand, or leading change in your community, this podcast is your space to grow, learn, and unleash the leader within. So grab a notebook, get ready to take action, and join us on this journey to unleash our leadership potential. Before we dive in, make sure to follow Karla on Instagram, LinkedIn at Karla Blanco Coach, Karla with a K, and YouTube at Karla Blanco Show to stay connected and get even more leadership tips and updates.
It's an honor to introduce Dr. Alicia Newsome. She is an executive advisor, international speaker, and 3 times best-selling author who helps high-performing founders and senior leaders build profitable companies without sacrificing their well-being, marriage, or values. Her work sits at the intersection of leadership, performance, and faith. Through her integrative leadership framework, she strengthens business structure, executive capacity, and strategic alignment, so growth does not come at a personal cost. With over 15 years of experience studying the psychology and physiology of high performance, she brings a rare blend of business strategy and human optimization to the stage and boardroom. Dr. Alicia, welcome to the show. Dr. Alicia, can you share with us about your journey? We want to learn more about you.
Yeah, so my journey really began over a decade ago. And at this point in my life, I was leaving a very toxic marriage. It was very volatile. I had 2 little ones. They were still in diapers. And on Sunday afternoons, for example, I would head over to a friend's house. Everybody's laughing and, cooking in the kitchen, doing different things. And I would sit down on the couch and I'd completely collapse. I was exhausted. And they would say, okay, well, let's give her a blanket, give her a pillow. We've got the kids. And I was exhausted all the time. And it wasn't just on Sundays. It was on Mondays. It was Tuesdays. It was Wednesdays. At that time, I was in private practice and I would see patients all day. And then I'd go pick my kids up from daycare. And then it was like, feed them, let me get them in bed so mama can go to bed, right? Mm-hmm. And I was tired all the time. And it wasn't just fatigue. I had struggled most of my life with my menstrual cycles. I had neck pain, back pain. I had all these weird things going on inside of my body. And they were really holding me back. They were holding me back from being a good mom, from being a good friend who can show up and have energy and be present. It was holding me back in different areas of my career as well, because I didn't have the energy to be productive and focused and all of those things. And I ended up meeting a functional medicine doctor who ran some lab tests and really helped me understand what was going on in my body. So it wasn't the traditional blood work that you would get done, during your yearly physical or well woman exam. It was more extensive work that really helped me identify what was going on. And then after that, my energy came back. I had more energy than I had had in years. And I was able to be more productive. I was able to be a better mother. I was able to make more money because of this, travel more. It really changed the trajectory of my life and even the way that I practice. So from there, I really started looking at functional medicine more. And my life I've lived a few lives, I like to say. And I've had different careers and different businesses that I've started a lot because of me being able to have my health in order. So I worked in pharmaceutical research. I had a consulting business doing that for many years. And I worked in women's health issues. So endometriosis, fibroids, breast cancer, infectious disease. And these were on really big trials that were really impacting the world, changing things for women. And I did that for many years. And then I hit this point of, okay, this isn't as fulfilling as, being able to work with people one-on-one. So 4 years ago, I went back into private practice, launched this practice that I have now where I work with women one-on-one, women who are struggling with hormonal imbalances, all the same things that I was, so trouble sleeping at night, energy throughout the day, trouble losing weight, digestion issues, all of those things. And I help them find out exactly what's going on inside their body and then get to the root cause of those issues and resolve them without any drugs or surgery. So that's a big part of the work that I do. I do that with individuals one-on-one, and then we also work with corporations. We work with their leadership teams, where we do executive coaching, and then also we do wellness challenges as well. So a lot of times companies will want to bring wellness into their companies, and they may do something like The Biggest Loser, right? But that doesn't really benefit people that don't have lots of weight to lose. Or they may provide gym memberships to their employees, but usually the ones that use that are the ones that already go to the gym, right? So we do these wellness challenges that focus on and really help employees learn how to eat, how to move, how to deal with stress. And we do them in 6-week challenges. And we have a 50% engagement rate, which is much higher than the majority of the country. Usually it's about 10 to 12%. So that creates cultures of productivity, cultures of higher performance, collaboration, teamwork, all of those things. And of course, helps with the bottom line as well, because when you have healthy, happy employees, they're not calling out, lower insurance claims, all of those different types of things. So that's a bit about me and my journey and then how I got to where I am right now.
That's exciting, and I'm looking forward to deep dive in some of the different concepts you usually mention. One of those, the success tax. What are the first physiological warnings, signs that a leader is starting to outpace, so they know that they are starting to outpace their body's capacity to handle it? And actually, probably they don't know what they don't know. They are just feeling this overwhelm in their bodies.
Yeah. So I like to give this example. If you were driving down the street and the check engine light comes on in your car, you'd be like, oh, okay, I've got to go to the mechanic, get this checked out. So imagine you head over to the mechanic, you schedule your appointment, you head on over. And when you get there, you let the mechanic know my check engine light came on. I've been hearing a little rattling noise or something going on. And the mechanic's sitting there, he's taking notes, he's writing everything down. And then once he's done writing, he reaches into his pocket and then he pulls out a sticker and he says, that's all you have to do is take this sticker and put it right over that check engine light. That would be crazy, right? That would be completely unacceptable. We would not allow them to do that. We would expect him to open up the hood, run some diagnostic tests, find out, why is the check engine light going off in my car? It's there. It's a warning sign. And a lot of times with our health, we have the same thing going on. We have these warning signs that pop up. So those early indicators that something is off. And that can look like going through your day and needing, lots of caffeine as soon as you wake up, or that afternoon crash, like your body's not able to sustain you throughout the day. It could be where you're sitting in a meeting and then now you're like, you can't remember what you were about to say. Memory issues. It could be brain fog. It could be digestion issues are a big thing. It's not normal to be bloated after you eat. It's not normal to be constipated or have diarrhea. Those things are not normal. They're common, just like headaches. Headaches are common. Lots of people have them, but they are not normal. So those are big factors to look at. So of course, energy. We should have energy that we are able to go to bed at night, go to bed with no issue. So if you're having trouble going to sleep or you're at nighttime, you're getting that wired but tired feeling, like you're tired, but now you're just like, I can't go to sleep. That's a sign. We should be able to go to sleep and then we wake up and we feel energized. Within 30 minutes, there's a hormone called cortisol that pops up that should go even higher, where we're like very alert, ready for our day. And then throughout the day, that hormone goes down and then it should stay down throughout the night. So energy is a big one. It's often just overlooked. I think, especially in high achieving women, because we live in a culture that worships exhaustion, right? It's like we get our badge of honor by how hard we've been working and how many projects we have and how much we've been pushing through, right? So being exhausted and tired is really considered normal, but it's really just common. It's a check engine light going off. So
Yes.
any kind of menstrual cycle issues as well, those could be early warning signs as well. You should have a period. Cramps are not normal. Tender breasts are not normal. Heavy menstrual cycles, irregularities, all of those are warning signs as well. And then trouble losing weight as well. That's a check engine light. Those are early indicators that there's things going on with your body as well.
Well, that's really helpful because many times we overlook those signs. Thank you for sharing. And why is identity alignment often the missing piece for high performing women who have the strategy right, but still feel fragmented?
Yeah. So right now I'm finishing up my book, Worthy of Rest. And there's a big part on there where it's almost a hidden battlefield that we have, where we have beliefs about ourselves that aren't in alignment with truth.
Mm.
And all of us have them. Okay. We're all guilty of having these, and I call them automatic defaults, where we'll default to, I'm not, I'm not worthy. That's a big one, but I'm not enough. Right. So no matter like how much we do, no matter how many certifications or degrees or promotions we get, it never feels like enough. Right. Because we have this automatic default of like, I'm not enough. Or we have, I'm alone. So life, you could be going along with life. And this typically happens when something triggers us. When something's happening, we're going through our day and, someone makes us upset, or there's something that happens that throws us off. Typically we'll default into one of these. So I am alone could be one. So for me, having been a single mom, that really played into I am alone. Like I don't have the support I need, I picked this man, like all of these things. But we'll also start creating circumstances where we're not asking for the help that we need, like we're not reaching out, asking for help. Now we're guarded, where we don't let people in. So then we create these worlds where it's like, well, I am alone, you know? So there's, I'm alone. There is, I am not enough. There's, I'm bad or I'm wrong. That really plays into for the perfectionist who's like, wants to get everything right because they don't want to fall into I am wrong. And then there's not enough. Did I say all four? I think I said all four.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's really identifying when those things happen, because they happen to us all the time, and then not taking action from that place, like not feeling the anxiousness that may come with that, or the shame that may come with that, and then pausing and really realigning ourselves with truth. So there's a whole practice that I take my clients through of like identifying what's coming up in this moment. Like, how are you feeling? A lot of times when we think about feelings is one word, and that is, sad, happy, angry, frustrated, right? It's not like all the thoughts that go along with it. Those thoughts are valid and those are fine, but really understanding like I'm sad in this moment. And I think as high achieving women, we just push through that all the time. Like, and I was raised in a family, I don't know about you, but emotions were something pushed to the side. It was like, we're not dealing with all of that. Right. So I grew up really learning to push through and not acknowledge all of those. Or there's some emotions that are good. It's okay to be loud and happy and, all of that. But then some of the harder ones, we don't learn to really process. So it's important to understand what's happening inside of us, like in our hearts, and what's coming up for us emotionally. And then if we are falling into one of those automatic defaults of like, I'm not enough, then we realign ourselves with our true values and the truth. I call it your center of truth. So like I am enough, like I am more than enough, like the world is abundant, like realigning to what is really true for us. Like all things are working out for my good always. So there's a practice in doing that and then taking action from those places. So when people may ask us, a big one that I think women struggle with is that we say yes to a lot of things we want to say no to, and that comes from those automatic defaults, like it's just like, okay, well, I don't want to, I don't want to be looked at a certain way, or I don't want anybody upset with me, or I feel like I've got to do it. And when we're able to be in alignment with what is true for ourselves, then we can more powerfully, in like an instance of saying no to something we really want to say no to, we can actually do that versus taking on so much overwork, putting more on our plates than we can actually handle, being the superwoman, carrying everything around. So it's really the practice, the backup of identifying what's going on inside of us, being okay with that, and then realigning with the truth before we make decisions or take action.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for taking us through that process of self-awareness, identifying what are those lies that we tell ourselves and
Yeah.
take action for that from the truth.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate because we definitely strong women usually are in the push, 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 delivery, delivery, delivery.
Yep.
So it's really important to take that pause. And
Yeah.
having a hand like yours will be amazing. Thank you, Dr. Alicia. How do you help founders build a business structure that protects their marriage and health instead of sacrificing them for the profit? Let's talk about a
Yeah.
sustainable architecture.
Yeah. So I have something called the integrated leadership framework. And there's three different areas that we look at, business being one, body, of course, because we've got to know what's going on and understand what's going on with the body and hormones. We've got to make sure we're taking good care of this vessel that's carrying out the work that we're doing while we're here on this earth, and then belief, the identity piece of it. So when it comes to business, it is really important that we're setting our teams and our structures up in a way that is sustainable. I'm not a fan of work-life balance. We just can't do it. If I was here standing on one leg trying to juggle, that would be really hard. Okay. So there's always parts of our lives that will take more time than others at different times. Like we're always shifting and moving and things like that. So I like to look at work-life sustainability. Like what are we doing today that we can actually sustain for the future? And what we want to do is we want to build businesses that do that. And one of them is, who are we hiring? And do we have the right seats or the right butts in the right seats? Like are the people that we have on our team, are they really doing what their passions, what they're talented in, and all of those different types of things? And one thing about hiring is that every hire needs to do one of three things. Okay. Because we're in business, even, I'm just going to say what they are. So they need to be doing one of three things. They need to be saving time. They need to be, especially as a founder, they need to be saving you time. They need to be making you money or saving you money. And then they need to be reducing stress or creating peace of mind for you. So it's really important that you hire people and have the right team in place, and not overhire, not have bloated overhead or anything like that. But you want to make sure that you have a supportive team that's able to carry out the vision, and making sure that you're properly hiring, and then delegate. Okay. So we've got to be able to delegate to the people on our team, which means we have to trust them. Okay. And we have to trust them to then carry out what the vision is and give them the autonomy to be able to do so. So making sure that we're properly delegating is a big part. And then our calendars are really important too. I
Oh,
think as women, we tend to just pack on, and we have days like that, right? where we do have meetings back to back or projects, but we want to create spaciousness in our calendar. So I always like to, if I think something's going to take an hour, let me just give me 3 hours for it, like make sure that I'm actually able to accomplish the things that I need to do in the time that I need to do it. I heard something the other day, and I don't remember who it came from or the quote, or the person told me might not even have quoted who it came from, but there's a lot of times we will overestimate what we can get done in a year, but we will underestimate what we can get done in 10 years. So one thing about building a business is we got to give ourselves a little bit of grace, right? Sometimes we create these goals and it's like, I'm going to do all of this year, right? And it's like, but when we look at our lives, and for most of us, if we look back 10 years ago, we're in completely different places than we are today, So it's just allowing us to have that spaciousness to flow in our business and giving ourselves the grace to hit the milestones that we want to be able to hit, but then also making sure they're realistic as well too.
Yes, I like that idea of giving some additional space in our calendar. Thank you for that. And let's talk about breaking the rules. Based on
Mm.
your experience working with so many women, what is one traditional leadership rule that ambitious women need to break in order to truly scale sustainably?
Oh, what rule do they need to break? Hmm. I think that we need to, and what's coming to me is really, I think it's just there's a perfectionist piece, a lot of times for high achieving women that it's just like, we've got to do it. And I like to have things done right. Like excellence is a big thing for me. But that it's got to be done, and it's got to be done right. And that everything is an emergency. I feel like with high achieving women's, like there's so many moving pieces all the time. And one thing that we have to ground into ourselves is that it's not all an emergency. I think there's also, I think culturally and in the workforce, this is what it is. See, success requires sacrifice. I think that's the rule we have to break.
Love it.
That we have to sacrifice our health, our family, our marriage, like everything in order to hit, these, whatever the milestone is, whatever the goal is, whatever the achievement is, that we just have to sacrifice it all. And it's crazy because when we do that, we're abandoning ourselves during that
Mhm.
time. It's like I achieved all of this and left me out. Like that is the rule that we have to break, that it just requires all this sacrifice. And there is a way to design our lives and our businesses in a way that is fulfilling to us and still accomplishes what we created it to do.
Living by design is so
Yes.
important. Yes.
Yeah.
There is so much noise that we need to cut into our lives.
Yeah.
And well, we are at the end. This went so fast. Thank you so
Okay.
much for everything you shared. What unleashed leadership means to you?
I think that unleash leadership is really about stepping into our power, about that when we get into alignment with who we are called to be, that is like that's our true leadership, right? It's our uniqueness in a world where there's so much opportunity for us to compare ourselves to other people. It's social media and, all these different types of things that would make us feel like we're not enough. Really stepping into and unleashing our leadership is becoming every bit of who we were designed to be.
Mm. Yes, who we were designed to be. Love it. Thank you
Yeah.
so much, Alicia. Anything else that you would like to add or share with the audience?
Um, well, just remembering that you're worthy, you're worthy of rest, you're worthy of well-being, you're worthy of peace, and that, it's sometimes it's just taking those baby steps. of taking those a few moments to, ask yourself, check in, like, what do I need, before rushing to do everything else.
Yes. Putting yourself first as a priority. Appreciate that. Thank you so much for the time shared, and thank you for the tips. And we are looking forward to get your book in our hands soon.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you. Bye. Have a great day.
Thank you.